Tuesday, September 26, 2023, Watkins Jail, Phoenix, Arizona. 2 weeks ago, there were about a dozen people in the corridor leading into the jail. They were training on the new scanning machine that is supposed to keep drugs and other contraband out of the jail. I asked if I needed to go through the scanner. They said not today. Last week, a bunch of correction officers and what looked like a couple of technicians ran me through the scanner. Today, the same group of people were there. A couple of officers checked my backpack, but when I started walking towards the scanner, one very irritated guard said, "The scanner isn't functioning," and waved me through. When I got to Pod 3, I announced, "Religious services, Church of Jesus Christ, religious services." There was zero response. The officer let me in the programs room and said the inmates were having a hard time getting out of bed. I was impressed when he walked the pod, rousting the men to get up and go to class. Over the next few minutes, 7 men trickled in. We introduced ourselves as sons of God, sang How Gentle God's Command, and Colin said the prayer. Last week, Joshua asked where he could find a good woman. He was being released the next day. Before I could say anything, Colin, the same Colin that said the prayer today, blurted out in a rather confrontational tone that he had found one of his ex-wives at a bar and that she was a good woman. I agreed there were good women everywhere, then asked, "What were your intentions when you went to the bar?" Colin just looked at me, made a face, and didn't say anything. Last week, part of the lesson from Come Follow Me was 2 Corinthians chapter 12, verse 9. And Christ said unto Paul, My grace is sufficient for thee, for my strength is made perfect in thy weakness. In his prayer this afternoon, Colin gave thanks for his weaknesses, that he might be made perfect through Christ. Today I read Genesis chapter 2 to the men. Verse 18 says, And the Lord God said, It is not good that man should be alone. I will make him an helpmeet for him. I asked the men what they thought helpmeet meant. No one said anything. I looked up what helpmeet means in Hebrew. This is what I found. The phrase translated as helpmeet comes from 2 Hebrew words, ezer and kenegdo. Ezer means help, but in a distinct way. In English, a helper is sometimes thought of as someone in a low position. But ezer describes strength. It suggests the individual has power to rescue another. Though its meaning is less definitive, scholars agree that kenegdo means corresponding to and opposite to. It describes 2 things that are next to each other and complementary to each other, but different from each other, like facing opposites. While discussing the concept of helpmeet with the men, Colin raised his hand and pensively said when he married one of his former wives, his mother counseled him that anything he could do better with his wife.